guys, it's Wavejump here, and welcome back to another command block tutorial. And before this episode starts, I want to ask you guys something, which is I've been doing a lot of viewer suggestions recently, and I want to ask you guys, do you think I should be doing these as their own command block tutorial video, or should I make a separate series for those of you who just want to learn about the commands? So let me know down in the comment section below, and yeah, let's just hop right into it. Alright, so again, welcome back to today's command block tutorial. Today we are going to be covering FallingSand, TestforBlock, and how you set your spawn. I also do want to mention that if you are new to this channel, I upload every Wednesday if possible, and of course sometimes I may have more trouble uploading them, but yeah, I do try very, very hard to get them out every Wednesday. But yeah, so again, we're covering FallingSand, TestforBlock, and setting spawn. And so far we have covered tower, execute, title, fill, clone, set block, summon, entity data, effect, block data, teleport, TP, selectors, scoreboard, test for, randomization, dissecting, command block, contraption, FallingSand, test for, setting spawn, and next episode is going to be determined. Ooh, that was a lot. That was quite a mouthful. And I also wanted to ask you guys, how frequently do you want me to make you a version of this world that you could download? Because I personally think that every 5 episodes or so is a great thing, because it is a lot of work to end up uploading the thing, and then I don't want to hugely clutter up everything. Oops, and let's not do that. Alright, so anyways, our FallingSand, I made another little platform, so we're gonna head over there, and yeah, let's head over. I made this little bridge over there, so there we go. Let's just head on in here. And, wait. What? Was that lightning? Could I get through? No, I can't get through. And I can't get under the sand either. Well, the good news is that I actually created a secret door in case something like this were ever to happen. Now, how is this created? Well, FallingSand. So, FallingSand is a really cool thing that allows you to essentially have, well, many different effects, and I will go ahead here, and I'm going to quickly boost my video scale, but essentially, FallingSand is a type of entity. So, as you know, entities are things like, pigs, items, basically anything that you will see and can move around in the world. Other than player, of course. And FallingSand is one that I really, very briefly touched on earlier in the series, but I got a request from comment up on screen right now from somebody to show off how FallingSand works, because FallingSand is a bit of a complicated thing, but it's actually pretty easy to use once you know the basics. So this is actually an extremely basic thing. I'm summoning FallingSand about 1.5 blocks above this. No gravity is 1B. The block is a quartz block and time is 1B. So, you'll notice actually here, if I kill all FallingSand, it disappears. So believe it or not, for this, I'm not even using a repeating command block, I'm just using a singular command block. And yeah, you'll notice this is misaligned, but there we go. So the way this command block works, I'm going to go ahead and go over this. It summons a FallingSand about 1.5 blocks above it. It enables no gravity, so that won't fall, because otherwise it'll fall like a sand block. And it acts as if it's on the ground. I don't honestly know if that's necessary. I just kind of added it in while playing around. And the block itself is a quartz block. So if I wanted to make the door more obvious, I can make it something like a sea lantern. Just like, oops, just like that. But of course I don't need to use it as a sea lantern, so I'm actually going to turn that to a quartz block. And time is the most complicated part of this probably. So essentially the way it works, Minecraft time is dictated by ticks, which you may very well know. And ticks are something very important. So ticks basically have to do with time. So they're measurement of time, and it's something that is very important. So like, for example, you could do game rule, random tick speed, and you'll notice currently the tick speed is 3 because that's what the random tick speed usually is. And ticks is just Minecraft's unit of time, essentially. But if the time hits 600, then the FallingSand will despawn and turn into a block. This is extremely important to know, because if otherwise you will have things turning into items. You could use FallingSand without the time tag, but you could had some really weird entity crazy stuff. So what this is right here is this is constantly setting the FallingSand's time to 1. So by doing that, I won't have any issues. Alright, so anyways, we're gonna move on to the rest of this FallingSand stuff. Alright, so the first one right here, this is just summoning a basic FallingSand. So right up here, I summoned a purple block, and yeah, it's just right there. It's pretty very simple, and no gravity, of course, so it won't fall. Obviously, if I set that to 0B, um, then we will get a literal falling sand that will actually turn to a block when it hits. But I'm using no gravity in this case, just to show you the practical applications. I noticed sometimes falling sand won't exactly align with the block, so you can't use like 21, for example. That will be not exactly on the block, because it works quite weirdly with how it falls and stuff. So I found 20.49 worked for this specific one. You'll have to play around with the numbers sometimes, though. But yeah, it's very, very simple, and you could, of course, copy this command. Just pause the video if you need to. If you want to test it out, it's pretty easy to do. And of course, you don't need 20 blocks above. This right here is a bit of a demonstration on how this whole time thing works. So if I enable this for a little bit, you'll notice that up there we have purple block. But you will see, and this may take a minute or two, so I'm just gonna kind of continue on here, that eventually that purple block will disappear and turn into an item. Alright, so right here, and I'll get over to what that is in a little bit. This is also a summoning a falling sand, and let's see, temporarily turn this off. Oh, there is something I did forget to mention, which is that these can't tick up because they're constantly being set to a time of 1. Probably should remember that. But yeah, you could do all sorts of stuff with summoning falling sand, different blocks, etc. And so we're going to move on to something you may want to play around with a bit more, which is motion with falling sand. So you can make falling sand go in a specific direction, which can cause some pretty cool things. And I should also mention, when you are having falling sand go into a certain direction, you can't have super complicated motion fast. There you go. You know, these all turned into items because 600 ticks passed. So I'm actually going to spawn this thing back in and turn this back on, because obviously, you know, that could be a bit of an issue if you're in a world. So it's just something important to keep in mind, of course. Alright, so next we are moving on to motion paths. So when you're using motion, there's a, you want to copy right now on screen, you could pause and copy this motion thing, and this way you could play around with this first motion tag. So, 0, 1, and 2 each symbolize their own directions. So, right now, oops, right now you'll notice I did 0.5D, so if I summon this, it just simply makes it go up a little bit. And all this does is yeah. But that will activate twice, and it just kind of, you could create clocks with this, and I will show you exactly in a little bit how you create clocks with it. Alright, so this next part here, again, motion, and in this case, I think I missed where it went. Let's see. Hello? Alright guys, I am back and I fixed it. I'm not sure exactly what the issue is, but anyways, our command here is summon falling sand, blah blah blah. We already know all that. We're summoning a redstone block, and the motion is 0.0D, 0.1D, and 4D. So I should mention also this is X, Y, and Z, and you figure out. So if you take a look here, when I activate this, you'll notice it actually will go over in that direction right there. And when I activate it, the falling sand actually goes on top of this command block here, which I showed you earlier, and it'll set itself to quartz. Set to quartz is behind this command block, but I thought it was a pretty cool thing. And this one right here, where it goes in that direction. So the point of that, actually, interestingly, was, watch this. Now that that's activated, I could actually go ahead and, oops, I don't want that actually. Take a look. You could actually make an infinite clock just like that, which is just kind of a lot of fun to play around with. I don't know about you, but I find it like just something fun. You know, it's not per se something that's, you know, the most helpful thing or whatever in the world, but it nevertheless is something fun to play around with. And if you want to, of course, play around with the command, it was on screen. And if you guys ever need me, by the way, in a video to give you a command that was in the video, if I'm able to procure that command, then I will give it to you. But yeah, this is also right here partially a demonstration of how falling sand can actually turn into blocks. And you will see in a lot of really good maps, people will create really complicated creations where it like looks like stuff is like explosions, for example, using falling sand, where everything's just flying all over the place. And yeah, in terms of the rest of this, it's just a box with all this in it. It's nothing else really. I'm not sure why my door locked behind me, but we're gonna exit out our secret way, And you know what? Before we continue on with this video, I realize now we need a better way to get back, because if we get stuck there, then what are we gonna do, right? And going back from that island to then go press the button just ends up getting kind of repetitive and crazy. So actually, I'm gonna make my GUI scale bigger now. I actually was creating a prototype the other day, which is actually just behind here, and I think it'll work perfectly for our needs. So I will show you right now. I keep my teleporter in my last slot, and then I can also give myself a normal compass. And let me also clear my command history, because it's crazy. So yeah, whenever I'm holding the teleporter, it teleports me back to spawn, no matter where I am. But the catch is, if I'm holding a normal compass, nothing happens, which is a really awesome thing. Of course, you don't want to be in your first slot, because if you're in your first slot, it means that you'll teleport infinitely, which obviously you don't want. And yeah, sometimes you get a little bit of a bug where it looks like it duplicates. Not sure exactly what goes on there. But I will show you the commands behind this. So this is testing for everybody, and it's only a single player world, so it could be a pretty simple system. Selected item. So you're holding a Minecraft compass. Again, you could pause the video right now and copy this command right here. And the tag is display name teleporter. So this means it'll only run if it sees that I'm holding a compass named teleporter. Okay? Alright, so the next one here teleports the nearest player to 848, which is my spawn point. Next, it'll clear everybody's compass as long as it's named teleporter. Again, pause and copy it, but you don't really need to. Because if you guys want, I could put it on the description. And this right here will give me a compass with the name of teleporter. And I should also mention right here, 064, 0 means the data, so I don't have compass with the data of 1, I have compass with the data of 0. And 64 means that I can remove up to 64 of them. So if I had a stack of these in my inventory, of course, it would be fine. And of course, I have my ender chest there. So I'm thinking we should put the system under spawn. I don't know about you, but I think it would be a great idea. And yeah, that over there, by the way, will be for TestforBlocks, which, as you know, we are going over later. And I do, by the way, have something extremely important that you need to know. Because if you don't do this, the entire system will just break, and it's no fun for everyone if that happens. So essentially, oops, that's a problem. I really shouldn't have done that, because now I've screwed myself over. Oh, the joys of command blocking. Alright guys, so believe it or not, it looks like I've actually been able to fix it just by using, believe it or not, sheer command blocking. So let's go ahead here and try and, oh, looks like we're one block off. Yeah, but it looks like we're going to be able to actually command block our way out of this, because after all, it is a command block tutorial. Alright, let me go ahead and actually set this block here to a beacon so I know what the heck I'm looking at. And there we go, guys, we just solved our problem, believe it or not, using the power of set block. So, actually, guys, that was completely unplanned, so believe it or not, I actually managed to, like, figure out and how to maneuver that. So there you go, that's how to fix if you ever actually like that. I'm actually going to move the full system later, because as you can tell, currently it could be a bit hard to actually fix the system. But what you're going to need to do if you're recreating this simply is go over into your thing and then edit the command so that it's non-functional before you move it. But yeah, the reason why it wasn't working, it was set to always active, but conditional turns off when you copy command blocks for some reason. So anyways, yeah, now we have an easier way to get back, and we actually need to continue on with our episode. So sorry guys for delaying off track, but hopefully for you that probably wasn't a huge delay actually, since the magic of editing. Okay, so next thing we're going to be covering is TestforBlock. And then after that we're going to check about setting spawn. Alright, so the way TestforBlock works, it lets you check if there is a block somewhere. Alright, so for example, if I go TestforBlock, not TestforBlock 4311 quartz block, it finds a block. If I check if it's quartz block now, no, it's air. And you could also check for data tags. So if it was a furnace, and I'll show you what kind of data tags I mean. If it was a furnace, you could use the data tags that are like this. similar to entity data. We went over that in our block data video, so if you want to check out that video, just look through command block tutorials, and if I remember, I'll leave a link to it on screen right now. But of course, I probably won't. So anyways, alright. So TestforBlocks is also pretty important. So TestforBlocks allows you to compare selections. So for example, right here, I'm testing for blocks, and this is just a 3x3 grid, like around here of quartz. And we're gonna check, and we're checking above it if it's the same. And this says 9 blocks impaired. It doesn't give me an error. But if I do this now, and actually I probably need to do this just because I'm not sure which direction it'll operate in, since command blocks operate all day. Source and destination are identical. So this is a way you can kind of compare buildings or whatever. It's just a really awesome way to do that. And yeah. And I also added another one over past in this area, which actually I should turn this off before it kills my entire thing. There we go. And now that's gone. What I did was I actually added under one of these here. It looks like it's this one. And I'm trying to compare that same selection to this. Not sure why I'm doing it -1. It should be 1. But yeah, you'll notice now it's like, no, it's not the same as this because this is netherwart. And netherwart is certainly not the same as quartz. Alright, so next we're moving on to setting spawn. And there are 2 very distinct ways to set your spawn point. One is to use a bed, of course, but this is a command block tutorial. What are we doing? We're not setting beds. So here comes the 2 commands: set spawn point and set world spawn. So spawn point and set world spawn are very different, and we're going to be going over both of them in detail in just a second. Alright. Actually, I'm not sure how I'm going to use spawn point, but actually, I do know. I'm going to use it now. Okay, so first off, we're going to go over set world spawn. So set world spawn sets where the world spawn is. Oh, and you need to set which player. So if also, I'm going to show you something really quick, which is game rule. I don't think we've gone over this yet, so we're going to go over that in a future video. But you could set the world spawn to it wherever you want. So we're going to set the world spawn to on top of this command block now. And now you'll notice if I were to say, unfortunately, fall into the void, I would spawn there, but that's there, so it makes me spawn there instead. Not supposed to happen, but yeah, essentially you could set the world spawn to any place you want, and it should work. Oh, never mind, guys. I was actually doing it wrong, so it should work now. So yeah, you don't specify a player. I'm not sure why I thought it said specify a player, but now if I go ahead and just unfortunately fall into a void, oops. You'll notice I will respawn right on top of this command block, as we knew. So there it is right there. That's how you set the world spawn. But then, what's the difference with spawn point? So spawn point dictates exactly where you yourself spawn. And to explain this to you, I'm just going to go over it. So there's the world spawn, and this is where any new player will spawn. And there's spawn point, which is usually how you would set your bed. So if I were to do just everybody's spawn point, the interesting thing about this is it'll actually set it to where the player currently is. So you notice last time it said 4, 4, 12. This time it will set it to 3, 4, 10. But I could also, of course, I'm pretty sure, set it right above this. And yeah, now I notice 2, 5, 13 and 2, 5, 13. So, of course, now if I were to fall into the void again, I would spawn right on top of there. But, of course, I want to spawn right here. So I'm just going to run slash spawn point here. This is something extremely helpful, especially for me. I use this almost as like a checkpoint system, and what I mean by that is I always play with keep inventory on. So what this means is that basically, excuse me, it means that essentially if you die, you end up just spawning back wherever your previous checkpoint was, which of course you would have set using slash spawn point. You could also use it as in a way to almost like teleport yourself if you don't really feel like saving coordinates, which is a pretty easy thing. And yeah, so I think, have we covered everything we need this episode? That is the question. And actually, I'm not sure why I'm still using that. So we did say we were covering FallingSand, TestforBlock, and setting spawn. Oh yes, there's one more thing I want to cover. So I was asked the other day in my comment section, again, if I have that comment, I will leave it on screen right now, how exactly I could make an entity basically have no hitbox, because currently, you know, actually I need time to survival to demonstrate this. If I hit an entity, right, I could still hit it. So if I do entity data at e type equals pig, since we're testing out on pigs, I mean, of course, we could go ahead and give it the invulnerable tag, like this. So now, you'll notice if I try and punch it, it has no hitbox, and yeah, now of course you can't walk through it, and for that you will need something a bit more complicated, but if you want no hitbox, you could basically do that. Of course, you could also play around with other entity data tags, and if you would want an entity data video, just let me know. But I do right now have a big backlog on videos I need to make, and I'm going to be starting school soon. Alright, so now, for example, we could go, as to how to make it collide with something, I'm not sure if there's a way to do that. However, I do have an idea, which is if I use the motion tag, which, as you know, we used before, with that earlier, 0, 0, d, comma, 1, colon, 0, d, comma, 2, colon, 0, d. I'm thinking, and this is just experimental right now on video, maybe, it's possible if we were to give ourselves command block and make it repeating, and if we were to be able to place down the command block because we were in creative mode, oops, that's the wrong command, let's not do that. So this is again just testing, so the question is, can we do that? And the answer is yes. You'll notice now I could walk straight through this pig, whereas without this command block, I've just pushed the pig around. So this is how exactly to do that. Yeah, sorry if I gave you the wrong answer in the comments and this is what you're referring to. That's how you do that. And of course you can do that with an entity, do it with a specific name. Check my selectors video if you want to know how to do that. Also, I'm talking really fast right now and I don't really know why. And yeah, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. I know it has been kind of a long one and kind of a messy episode almost. Like, it's been a crazy episode. All sorts of unplanned stuff going on. But guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Nevertheless, if you have, go ahead and leave a like down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, of course, again, I forgot to mention this. Thank you for 80 subscribers. As I'm making this video, I have 80 subscribers, which is insane to me given that, like, I'm pretty sure, like, maybe even less than a month ago, I had about 50, which is, wow, that's some huge channel growth. And guys, I've just started as well thinking about what the heck I'm going to do for 100 subscribers, because I'm probably going to hit that in the next, like, 2 months. In fact, most likely in the next month, given this current rate. But yeah, guys, again, I hope you have enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Bye!